Hello, I'm Michael Sheen. Ever had to borrow any money? This amount, that's £500, repaid on the doorstep over 52 weeks, will typically cost you, what, £100? £200? £400? £430? £435? £436. That is £936 in total. Well, that's pretty common. If you are one of the hundreds of thousands of people who borrow £500 over 52 weeks from a high-cost lender, you pay back well over £900. The people on the lowest incomes, living in the most disadvantaged neighbourhoods, pay a poverty premium. We can do better. At some point in our life, most of us have to borrow money. To fix our washing machine, to buy our children a new school uniform, or to pay an unexpected bill. For many of us, the standard way is savings, or maybe a credit card, a bank loan, or overdraft. The cost of borrowing is usually low and affordable. However, for 13 million people in the UK with thin credit files or poor credit histories, standard sources of credit are simply not available. They are financially excluded from mainstream credit. What does this mean? Well, it doesn't mean that people don't borrow money. They still need to pay the unexpected bill or repair the fridge. If their wages or benefits don't stretch far enough, they need to find this money from somewhere. Instead, millions of people have to borrow from high-cost, short-term firms like doorstep lenders, payday loan companies, or rent-to-own shops. In 2016, these firms lent £4.5 billion to nearly 4.5 million people in the UK. In total, people in the UK currently owe nearly £9 billion to high-cost credit companies. This is a massive issue in this country. Often it means that those with the least pay the most for all sorts of things: insurance, utility, and credit. This is the poverty premium in action. But don't take my word for it. Let me introduce you to Lindsay, Razia, Zoe, Michael, Marie and her son Jack, and April. They'll tell you what it means to have to borrow money when your choices are limited.
I don't think I'd get for a bank. I'm on benefits. I'm a single parent, so I don't think I'd get for a bank.
When I was younger and I was borrowing off like the illegal money lender and doorstop lenders.
At the time I was struggling.
You get stressed because they were coming to the door at the same time and you didn't want the other person knowing you owed this person because some weeks you didn't have all the money to pay everybody.
I felt a lot of anxiety and stress as well.
Everybody has something that happens, even if, like unforeseen circumstances, you do need to borrow money.
Why are we different from anybody else? We still need money like anybody else. Maybe somebody else can't save. There's circumstances. I've got a severely disabled son. All my money goes on him, so why no? Why are we not allowed to borrow money?
If you can make the payments, then why could you not borrow? Just to have that little bit extra.
You sometimes need money for things. Your washing machine breaks down, or you get a job, or you know, all sorts of other things.
So I was basically borrowing off somebody else to pay them. I got myself into more trouble with them.
The interest is so high that it looks like a debt trap.
I must have paid back thousands in interest. And when I think what I could have done with that money.
Been through a difficult period in my life and I didn't have any savings. You know, everything was worn down.
You really need the money, otherwise you're not just going for yourself, for luxury. You need it because something's broken down and emergencies come up. Like every day, always something comes up.
When you need money for something that's going to change your life and make your life better, then I don't see why you shouldn't be allowed to borrow.
Everyone's got to have that backup to borrow something. At the end of the day, everyone struggles.
Sometimes I had And I tried to get the kids to keep quiet if he came to the door, but he would persistently knock on your door and you had to just stay down till he was away.
What can we do about this? What are the alternatives? I mean, surely we can do better. The good news is that there are solutions. There is a different, more affordable, more socially responsible way that money can be lent where the borrower's needs align with the lender's motivation. Social lenders are not-for-profit alternatives that focus on lending money to low-income households. As not-for-profit social enterprises, they focus on minimizing the costs to borrowers, not maximizing them. They have no private shareholders to satisfy, no targets to meet, no cross-selling, fair salary ratios, no fat cats here, and no predatory lending. These social lenders offer personal service and flexibility. Loans when it's appropriate, access to other services when it's not. In many of these organizations, you can open a bank account or access free, independent money and debt advice. Many will give you the chance to save money too. There are a small number of these organizations around the UK. Organizations like Scotcash, First Alliance, Moneyline, and Conduit Scotland, offering a gateway to affordable credit. Let's hear from some of their staff and their customers.
Being able to treat somebody with dignity and respect, and for them to feel valued as a customer, is everything. It's everything to them, and it's everything to us as an organisation.
One of your core principles is that we're here for the people. So that if somebody presents, we listen to them. We've always got time to put a smile on our face, no matter how busy we are.
It's absolutely essential to service a customer with really complex, perhaps financial circumstances, and more to give them the ability to be able to explain those circumstances fully so that we can make a responsible decision, but also they get the opportunity to explain what's really going on for them before they just get instantly turned down.
We are lending to people who nobody else is going to give them another chance.
When we talk to them, it's not an interrogation about their finances, it's a conversation about their circumstances.
In addition to being a loan maker, we want to be a gateway to a wider range of services, advice, a bit of education. So, we're a different kind of lender, I think we'd like to say.
I was quite attracted to it because it was in the local community resource centre where there's lots of other information and advice for people, particularly marginalised people, excluded people. So it gave me a positive vibe, and the people were just great when I came in. You kind of worry when you're borrowing money about how much you're going to have to pay back and all the rest of it. And if you have a person in front of you, that makes a big difference because you can ask all the questions and feel sure.
People in line didn't know it's through a computer or through a telephone. They didn't know your circumstances. It could be anybody. At least when they know me face, they know my circumstances, they know me, they know Jack. So no, it's very important face to face. I think it's a great thing.
It's the staff. I think that's what makes me go back. It's the staff. They're very friendly.
Felt really at ease, made me feel really welcome. Really nice people.
What a huge relief. Just a huge relief.
My repayments are a lot lower than if I had gone to a doorstep lender. If I had gone to a doorstep lender, I probably would have seen myself in trouble.
It made a huge difference to me. I really don't know where I would have gone to get the money if that hadn't been available. And I really needed to get back to work. I had to start that job.
My first loan from Moneyline was £300. I borrowed it because my washer had packed up. Just been made redundant and I'd been back on benefits and stuff, so I was a bit reluctant really, thinking would I not get it, but I'm happy that I did get it because they helped me out a lot.
I think the family now, because I go there twice a year.
The door's always open, and I mean they're always willing to help if they can.
I think you should have loads of these Scotcash places everywhere. I think they're a great company, great.
I think it represents a lot of value compared to doorstep loans.
They're there, and I hope they're there for a long time.
Very few people in the UK have access to these fantastic not-for-profit alternatives to high-cost credit. These social enterprises need support to flourish and reach many more people. It's true, their APR prices can sound high. However, they cover the cost of lending, nothing more. They are cheaper, not cheap, better than the realistic alternatives, and offer a fair solution that their customers value. They lack visibility, need more capital to lend to people who need it, investment in their services to recruit and train new staff and open new premises and channels, and they need a decent budget to advertise. Central and local government need to see how their anti-poverty strategies can support these social lenders. They are part of the solution, not part of the problem. Lending money is not a substitute for decent wages and decent welfare benefits. It's about recognizing that low-income, excluded households do sometimes need to borrow money. And unless we're going to subsidize millions of loans, then we need them to cover their costs. Social lenders offer relationship-based lending that's fair, dignified, and respectful of people's circumstances. Overwhelmingly, their customers' experiences have a positive impact on health and well-being and quality of life. The bigger we can grow this sector, the better off, both financially and in terms of their overall well-being, our local communities will be.
We really need leadership from government in terms of making those products and services available, and also to ensure that customers know where to go when they need support to access those goods and services.
We have a highly credible sector here that's making real changes to people's lives. It is addressing some major issues in society. Please, link it to some of the more mainstream agendas, and also help us to find the capital that we need.
Social lenders can largely attract capital from social investors, but it's at near commercial rates. And social investors expect both a sustainable model, but also high social impact as well. And balancing both of these and growing at the same time is an ever-present struggle.
Clearly, marketing is a challenge for us. We rely on word of mouth, a bit of leafleting, bit of social media kind of activity, but rarely are we able to kind of go out with a big kind of visible, campaign.
One of the biggest problems we have in promoting the likes of Scotcash and others is helping people to get over the idea that the costs are too high to support. And so I'm just begging for politicians and others who are in the sector who can support us to stop and think about the clientele that are being served here. And if they really thought about it, they would then begin to realise how excluded some of them can be, and therefore they might take the time to realise that this kind of initiative is reaching a part of the community that they say they want to reach. So come and join us and reach them.
Let's leave the final word about the UK's social lenders to those who've used them.
For me, they were essential.
Friendly, compassionate,
Generous.
Helpful. Caring. Fair.
Brilliant.
Caring.
Accessible.
Fabulous.
Reliable.
Lifeline to a lot of people.
Brilliant.
People were really friendly.
Understanding.
fabulous.